What's up, you guys? What's up? So today we're going to talk about business stuff. We're going to talk about how did my brand new business survive the recession of 2008. If you want to hear about that, stay tuned. Okay, you guys, just to give you a little brief synopsis. My husband and I opened a hair salon, and we signed a lease in 2007, at the end of 2007. And we opened up the salon in 2008. So if any of you guys can recall what happened in 2008, it was the Great Recession. So we did not know that there was about to be a recession, or I promise you, just to summarize really briefly, we did open up and we survived. So, I'm doing videos now. I got YouTube, I got all this stuff where I'm trying to do self-help. I'm trying to give business information, so I'm posting it on my Facebook. So if you're watching them, thank you so much. You can share them. But anyway, I just did an Instagram live while I was out of town for my birthday just recently. My birthday was yesterday. Thanks for all the wonderful comments and birthday wishes and messages on Facebook. What a blessing you guys have been. I really appreciate it. I really do. And so just trying to put information out here about encouragement and about business and different topics that I feel that come up in my heart that may help somebody, because that's just the person that I've always been. This person since I was a young kid. I always want to help somebody. And so I always had the word in me. This is nothing new. I've always had the word in me since I was young. So, but just trying to give you, because the climate is kind of changing now in the world. You see a lot going on. So if I survived a recession, left like 20-something years of corporate America, went back into hair and opened a business just from what I felt was hearing from God, opened a business, had a successful business, survived a recession. So I feel like a lot of times, you guys, what we have to realize is some of the stuff that we go through in life is because God wants us to pay it forward. And He wants us to get this wisdom and gain this knowledge and pass these spiritual tests so that we can pass it on, so that we can pay it forward. And if we go through it, then we can help someone else. We can help somebody else know how to go through something or how to survive something. So to me, that's what it's all about. So open up, my husband and I, we had only been married maybe like 3 years, and then I left corporate America. He was all for it. Then we survived this recession, and I'm telling you about this so that possibly it can help you. Possibly you can glean something from this to help with your business. And so right now we're not in a recession. Who knows if we will be or not? But when you own a business, you always want to be having a plan B. You always want to be one step ahead. You don't want to procrastinate. You don't want to wait till something happens and then you respond. You want to always have a plan, especially if you're a business owner. So one way that we survived was good customer service. When you first open a business, or when you have a business, or you have an established business, whatever your case may be, or whatever your situation is with your business, customer service is everything. You don't want to be rude. When you be stressed, that's one thing that you can guarantee. It's always going to be stressed, because you can never plan your day out. You're going to wake up and you're going to be like, I'm going to have a quiet, peaceful day at work today at the business or whatever. And, somebody can call and have a client complaint, or somebody can call and, cancel, or you could be all booked up and then, 2 hours later, you can have 3 cancellations. The thing of it is, things change all the time. So you got to be very movable, very pliable, and very able to keep, the stress at bay. Being able to keep yourself healthy and stress-free, because stress just automatically comes with owning a business.
Thank you.
Client retention is everything. Once a client calls you or calls your business and they want to be a client, a customer, a patient, depending on what type of business you have, you definitely always want to have great customer service, and you want to give them a good customer experience so that they will want to come back. So that's what I always did, and that's how we survived the recession with Sugar Salon, because to me, people are important. It's always been that way for me. That's who I am. Once you know who you are, you don't have to convince anybody else of who you are. Like, if you know that you are a good-hearted person and that you love people and you have a business, you want to cater to people, then that's what you do. So people will know, it don't matter what the naysayers say or what this one, that one, or the third one say. What matters is how your clients feel when they come into your place of business. So that's very important. So that's going to be how you retain clients. That's also going to be how you set your business apart from other businesses, because sometimes people take clients, customers, patients, whomever, whatever type business you in. Sometimes people take the customer for granted. You never want to do that. I don't care if the customer has been coming to you for 5 months or 5 years. You always want to make that client feel appreciated. You always want to make that client feel important, because there's so many other businesses out here. Whether you a restaurant or whether you a hair salon or whether in technology or whatever type of business that you own, you always want to make clients feel appreciated. So one thing about my personality, I genuinely love people anyway. I've been like that since I was a kid. So it's easy, or was easy, and still is easy for me to make people feel appreciated when they came in my place of business. Whether they was sitting in my chair, which I really mainly put the customers with my stylist. When you're the owner, if you, for example, if you own a restaurant, it doesn't matter if you're the person that cooked the food or you're the person that served the food. If you're the owner, none of that matters. What matters is you go around to the clients that's in your restaurant or the diners, the people that's eating there, and you say hi, I hope you're enjoying the food. They may not know you're the owner, but they're going to think you're probably the owner or the manager. That's the thing, the little small things that you do to show people appreciation for coming in your place of business, as opposed to stopping at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 restaurants that they pass by to get to yours. So when clients would come into my salon, even though I wasn't doing their hair, one of my stylists was doing their hair, I went and chat with them and I said, hi, how did you find out about my business? And that's very important too, that you know where you're getting the customers from, where are you getting the patients from, where are you getting the diners from. If you're a business owner, you should always try to find out where the clients are hearing about you from, like how did they find out about you. That's very important, because then that way you can find out what's working, and then you can continue with that. Today's current situation in the world right now, with a lot of business layoffs, a lot of businesses closing, a lot of retails are closing. Some of there are several locations, hundreds of locations. A lot of long time, retail stores or grocery store chains that we knew since we were young, a lot of them are closing. A lot of businesses are closing down. I'm not telling you that to give you doom and gloom. I'm telling you that because that's reality. And one thing about being a business owner, you have to be real with yourself. You have to be honest. You can't be blind to the facts. You got to know what's going on, because once you know and you be real with yourself, then that's how you're going to be able to be prepared. You can prepare for what's going on. If you remain stagnant and you remain as is and you act like all this stuff is not going on that I just said, then, how are you going to prepare? How are you going to be ready? Because your mindset ain't even ready. Your spirit ain't even ready. You're not ready. So you have to be honest and real with yourself. When you see that the climate is changing in the world, a lot of layoffs, a lot of stores are closing, a lot of places that's been around since we were young, now they're going out. Before COVID hit, people would go to the grocery store more and go inside the store and buy groceries. And in all honesty, my husband and I, we order groceries a lot, because with that COVID thing, it kind of changed how people see things. Now we can just order groceries. We don't have to go in the store. We're so busy, we working from home or doing something around the house. And the same thing, so climates change, things change, times change. It's like when we opened Sugar Salon, and then a few months later, the Great Recession in 2008 happened. And so you always have to stay encouraged if you own a business. you always got to be thinking outside the box. You always got to have a plan B. And then right now, like I said, you see the climate changing. So what is your plan B? Do you have something in place already? Or are you procrastinating and you haven't put anything in place? Even if you own a business that accepts insurance, like you may be a doctor or something like that, you may be an attorney, you may have your own business or whatever kind of business it is. If you have a type business that, accepts insurance, then you may feel, safe and secure with that blanket. But the thing of it is, if you accept insurance and then people don't have insurance, or people get laid off, or people get fired, or people lose their job, then that could be less patience for you. Or, because a lot of times people can't pay for medical services, out of pocket without having insurance because it's so expensive. So you got to make sure you be prepared for that, whether it be, you have somebody else to work in your business to help you pay the overhead, or whatever your situation may be. You just always want to be thinking outside of the box. You always want to be prepared. And so for me, I have kind of an adaptable personality. You have to adapt in whatever situation you in, and I've always been that type of person that can adjust and adapt. But I'm also the person that's going to be real with myself and real with the situation and try to handle it accordingly. And so that's what we have to do as well. So that's what I did with the business. So that's how the business survived. And a lot of times too, when it comes to the service industry now, long time ago, back in the day, people did, services, they did hair, and, they saw it as a career, hairstylists or barbers. They saw this as something that they were going to be in forever. They saw it as a career. But again, times have changed, and I don't know for sure, but I really feel like, this is my opinion, I feel like people don't see the hair industry as a career. I don't feel like they see it as a career. It's way more competitive now because, a lot of people come in the industry now and you don't have to have a license in a lot of states. So what that does is it makes it more competitive, because now you got a lot of people who are coming into the industry that you saw as your career. Now you have a lot of people coming into the industry who haven't done what you did to get a license, or they haven't done what you had to do to get to where you are. And so now people can come in and be in the industry and not have to have a license and not see it as a career. So when people don't see it as a career, but you own a storefront salon and you're trying to fill up those chairs, you're trying to rent out these booths and trying to get people to pay you a weekly fee to rent a booth, then number one, a lot of people may not want to work 5 days a week standing behind a chair. They might just want to do it 2 days a week, or 1 day a week, or 3 days a week. So in their mind, they thinking, why would they pay you 5 or 7 days, for a week, pay you a booth rent to work in your salon to rent a chair when they only want to use this chair and it's stationed for 2 days? So that's just my opinion. I think nowadays a lot of people don't see it as a career because it's so up and down and it's so competitive. 1 week you may make, a whole lot of money. The next week you may not make as much. It's very kind of up and down, or it can be. So when you work in corporate, you know what your check is going to be every couple of weeks, what's going to be deposited. But in the service industry, it fluctuates a lot, and then you're self-employed in the service industry. And so some people don't see it as a full-time career. Some people want it to be their full-time career, but then when they get into it and they got car note, they got a mortgage, they got light, water, gas, and then if this career or what this industry doesn't really produce a lot of income for them that they can pay all these things, and they have to go to their plan B, which may be just doing hair 2 days a week, or just doing hair on the weekend and working in corporate America during the weekday. And so then if you're a salon owner and you're trying to have, booth rental hairstylists working in your salon and renting a booth, and they don't see it as a career because they tried it as a career. They tried it as a 5-day-a-week thing, and then they just wasn't earning the income that they need to pay all their bills. So a lot of times it's not personal. A lot of times people have tried it out and it's just not working for them. It's just not generating the income that they need. And so then you look into a situation, because then if they don't see it earning enough money to pay all their bills, or they don't see that happening, then what they have to do is step into their plan B. And so a lot of times people may try it out as, okay, let me try a commission salon then. I still want to see this as my career, but let me step into my plan B and try to see about getting in a commission salon. So then they get in a commission salon, and then it's slow. It's very slow. So what I try to tell commission salon owners, or if you're trying to hire people on commission, what is absolutely the truth, whether you receive it or not, is if you have a salon and you're a salon owner and you're bringing in commission people, they're going to be looking for the owner to be giving them clients. That's why they went into a commission situation. And that's just how they're going to look at it. Whether you believe it or not, whether they tell you or not, whether it's unspoken or not, whether somebody say it or not, really doesn't matter. In their head, that's what they're going to be thinking. In their heart, that's what they're going to be thinking. And nowadays, communication is not as it used to be. People don't always say or be honest or be forthcoming, maybe in the interview, or be forthcoming when they're having a conversation with you. People assume a lot. So if you are a commission salon owner and then they come to work at your salon, because now they're going to kick their plan B into gear and they come and work at your salon on commission, then they're going to be assuming that you're going to be giving them clients. And then they get there and it's slow. Like, they're not going to stay, because again, now they've kicked their plan B in the gear because they plan A wasn't generating enough income for them to pay mortgage or rent wherever they at, car notes, gas, daycare. Like, people got grown-up bills. Like, people are grown, they got grown-up bills. And so if they come and work in your place of business, your salon, and they paying you a booth rent, even if they own booth rental and they supposed to have their own clients, they still don't want to work in a salon that's slow. They want to work in a salon that's busy, so that every now and then when you or your stylist can't handle all the clients that's coming through the door or that's calling, you may end up as the owner giving that booth rental stylist a client. Because guess what? Your salon is so booked and so busy that you don't have a choice but to give them to, one of the booth rental stylists. So they're thinking, okay, I can grow too, even though I'm on booth rental, I can grow as well because this salon is so busy. But if they come in your salon and it's slow, I can guarantee you they're not going to stay. So sometimes people leave the industry not because of other things. Sometimes it could be because they just not earning enough money to pay for all the responsibilities that they have, financial responsibilities, because they're not earning enough money in your salon or in the hair industry that they can be doing it full time. But they love hair now. They love doing hair. They love being around people. They love the camaraderie that you get. They love being self-employed, but it's not working for them. And so you got to make it make sense for them. If it's not making sense, they love it, but they're not making enough money to pay their bills, so they're going to have to make a choice. They're going to have to kick a plan B, implement a plan B. And if you own a business and you're not going to market it heavily enough, you don't even have all the social medias, and you're the owner and you're not passionate about it, but you're hiring people, but you're not passionate enough to promote and brand your business. And then 10 years later, you finally get a website, or you just not, as the owner, you're not doing your due diligence, and people just passing through your salon because number one, they don't feel like the owner is passionate about it. They're not branding and marketing the business. And then you're hiring commission people and there's not enough call-ins and not enough walk-ins. And like they say, location. That's what's going to determine the walk-ins. And so people, they see a catch-22. They don't see it to where, okay, if I stay here, I already been here a while, I'm not making enough money, I got bills to pay, I love hair, I love what I'm doing. But this owner is not passionate about their business because They don't have a website. They don't even have all the social medias. They not promoting continuously online. They not doing their due diligence. It seems like the owner just want themselves to be busy. They not helping me. So that's how people gonna look at it. Now they may not tell you that because communication ain't king out here no more like it used to be, because we got devices and everything else. Back in the day, in my day, we were young, we didn't have all these cell phones and all that. We had to sit down in front of a person and have a conversation. But nowadays, you don't have to do that. It's all kind of ways to have a conversation without sitting down in front of somebody. So with that in mind, if you own a salon, then you may want to offer a day rate, or you may want to offer a 2 or 3 day rate, or you may want to offer a weekend rate or something to that effect. Because some people are more so trying to do hair part-time. What you gonna do for the people that just want to do hair part-time? Like, what are you gonna offer them? Or are you gonna just stay as norm and stay complacent and not grow your business with the times? Because again, everybody don't want to do hair full-time. Not because they don't want to. Sometimes it's because they can't afford to, because they got all of these bills, and the money doing hair full-time is not enough to pay all the bills that they have. So acting as though none of this exists and being complacent and being stagnant and acting blind to the fact like this is not happening, like people are not laying off, like businesses are not closing, like long-time businesses that's been around since we were kids are not closing up, acting like the climate has not changed. Then if you don't do anything and kick a plan B in the gear, or don't have a plan B as a business owner or a salon owner, then woe be unto you. That could be a big mistake, because times are changing and times have already changed whether we acknowledge it or not. So make sure that you don't procrastinate. Make sure that you be proactive. Make sure that you have a plan B. Like, what are you gonna do to capture these stylists who just want to do it part-time? And you have your mind set on a weekly booth rental, but then people can't afford that because they don't have enough clients to pay you a weekly booth rental. Now you can bring them in there, and then when they can't pay you, then what? So you gotta have a plan B always. So always have a plan in place. Always have a plan in place. Don't remain stagnant. Don't remain as is. If you want booth rental people in your salon, that's all well and good, but you have to go with the times, and you got to see what the climate is, and you got to know that a lot of people don't come in the salon like they used to. And a lot of people do their own hair, they do their own skin, they do their own lashes, they do their own nails, they doing their own stuff that people used to go more so in a salon and get it done, or in a spa. Now a lot of times they're doing it at home because they just don't have the extra money to be doing that. So anyway, that's what I have today. I'm going to put some more business videos on here as well. If it's any kind of topic of business, or of, just anything that you'd like me to talk about or want to know more about. And I do monthly Instagram lives. I just did one when I was out of town for my birthday. It was long, so this one I just wanted to condense it. But just tell you to think ahead. I mean, that's how you survive. That's how we survive the recession. In my salon, I had ended up with 3 locations at the same time. And when I went to school for hair, I only did hair 1 year. And then I went in corporate America, so I didn't have this long history in the hair industry at all. Like, I had a long corporate history. And then I had stepped out by faith and got a business, a hair salon. It was very successful, won a lot of business awards and all of that. Had people coming in asking, can they do a reality show on my salon? I was like, that's going to be a negatory. I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to focus on my business. I was trying to make sure that the people that work there, that they can earn a living. Like, in my opinion, if you own a business and you open a business, to me, my top motivation was being able to bless people's families, being able to bless people who work in my place of business. I told God, I said, look, anybody you bring in my salon and I hire them, I'm going to do everything that I humanly possibly can to make sure that they're cared for, to make sure that they mentored, to make sure that they're nourished, to make sure that they own enough money that they can provide for their families, for their children. They can pay for cars and pay for whatever they got going on. You know, that's a promise I made to God. And once you put that seed in the ground, it's on God then. He got to make it happen. If you do everything in the natural that you can do, then God going to add the super to it. That'll make it supernatural. And so that's what I did. You know, if we have it in, because why would God pull me out of corporate America all those years to do something, go into something that's unfamiliar for me? I had never owned a business, but he knew I love people. And to be honest, you guys, that's what I miss the most about owning a business is the people. You know, the opportunity to be able to love on people, to be able to hug people, to be able to shake people's hands, to be able to say, how you doing, how mama doing, how Ray doing, how the kids doing, how the dog doing, you know, to check in with people to see what's going on, to thank them for coming to my business, to thank them for supporting my hairstylist, to thank them for, you know, passing 20 or 30 other salons to come to my salon. This was grateful. And that people, that's how you retain clients. That's how you retain patients. That's how you retain customers, by showing them that you appreciate them, that they can feel the energy, the good energy that comes up off you as the owner. Whether they coming to you or somebody else that works in your place of business, if you the owner, they should be able to feel that great energy. And to be honest, a lot of people that came to my salon, they would be talking to me for months on end. We having these deep, funny, hilarious, amazing, wonderful conversations. And then one day they'll just say to me, who is the owner? You know, I really love coming here. Who is the owner? The whole time, the whole 5, 6, 7, 8 months, they've been talking and laughing and joking, laughing at my dry jokes, had no clue that I was the owner. And to me, that's a great thing, because I wasn't trying to walk around with my head up in the sky. For me, I was just so grateful and so humbled and so happy to be able to have people that I can talk to, I can check on, I can see how they're doing, I can appreciate, I can intercede for. That's what it was all about. To me, that's what business ownership is all about. For others, it may be about something else. But for me, God knew I love people. So he said he'll make room for your gift, and that's what he did, and I'm so grateful. But the love of people, that's what it's about for me. And that's once you know who you really are, you ain't got to convince nobody. God is already convinced. He already know that you love people. He already know what's in your heart. So he said, you plant the seed and he'll bring the increase. He already know. He put the gifts in the body as it pleases him. You understand? So he don't need nobody's agreement. He don't need to ask nobody. He don't need no Monya Williams. He already know what kind of person I am, what kind of personality I have, what kind of behavior. He already knew he could pluck me up out of corporate America, put me over here in a business, in an industry that I worked in for 1 year, and he could put me back in there, and then a recession happened 4 or 5 months later, and I survived. Like, who can do that but God? You understand? The G-O-D. Yeah, you know me, I'm down with G-O-D. That's who I'm down with. See you on the next video.